Hello everyone, Andrew here with Get Together Gardening, and today I'm going to show you how I plant onions. I'm very excited because this marks the start of my 2023 growing season, so there's some things we have to do to prepare the beds to take the plants. What you're seeing me do here is just raking away the straw that I had put on top of my beds at the end of last season, and I'm just going to put this in a pile and put it aside for later use. Once my soil's exposed, I'm going to use a pitchfork to gently turn the soil, just so it's not so compact when I go to plant the onion sets. Now that my soil's loosened up, I'm going to add some fertilizer to help bring nutrients back into the soil. This is the fertilizer that I'm using this year. It's a 10-10-10 mix, which refers to the amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium within it. I've used 5-10-5 in the past, and it's worked just fine. You can also use a 10-20-10 if you're focusing on onions specifically and want something a little more aggressive, but I specifically chose this because I can use it throughout my entire garden, and I was able to get a large bag at a cheaper price. This is a look at the inside of the bag. The fertilizer basically looks like tiny little rocks, but this is going to help provide supplemental nutrients to the plants. To apply the fertilizer, I just put it in a pitcher and broadcast it over the surface of my bed. I usually just eyeball it, but if you're not sure how much to apply, check your bag of fertilizer and it should give you a suggested amount based on the size of your garden bed. Once I feel like I have good enough coverage with my fertilizer, I'm just going to take the rake and gently spread it out throughout the bed so it's evenly distributed and slightly under the surface. If you bury it too deep into the surface, you might not see the full benefit of the fertilizer. When you're choosing a variety of onion to plant, it's important to think about what you want to get out of that onion. I decided to choose Red Wing and Patterson onions based on storage capabilities. So things like storage, size potential, taste, those are the things that you want to be thinking about when you're deciding on a variety to plant. When planting onion sets, you want to plant them 4 to 6 weeks before your last annual frost. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow the plant to establish some roots before focusing on foliage growth and bulb growth. When you're ready to plant your sets, they only need to go down into the soil about an inch deep. And then for spacing, it really depends on the variety of onion that you're growing. So for example, the maximum size potential for the onions that I picked this year is 3 to 4 inches. So that would typically be the minimum spacing that I would put them at. I personally like to go a little bit bigger to give myself room in between the plants. If you want to use some of your onions as green onions, you can space them a lot closer together and then harvest them so that the onions that you leave in the ground have room to grow to their full potential size. The last thing we're going to do is gently water our onions. You don't want to water them too aggressively or else you could risk them coming out of place. They only need about an inch of water per week. Usually you can get lucky and this will be covered by the rain, but it's important to keep an eye on your plants to make sure that you're not overwatering them. If they start to turn yellow, you may want to cut back on the water, let them dry out a little bit, and then check the soil and water accordingly. And that's pretty much it. Onions are pretty easy to grow and pretty easy to maintain. So if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment if you have any questions, and happy growing.